Hi, and welcome to another episode of the South Texas Power Lunch. I'm Matt Duke, managing attorney with the South Texas Business Lawyers. Today, we have a really exciting episode with Roxana from WAPA Handmade, which is a trending fashion brand that you need to know about that has taken place right here in South Texas. Now, in this conversation, this is one of the few conversations I get to have where someone has very thoughtfully and strategically built a brand and is going methodically through to make this a global phenomenon. And don't take my word for it. Go check out the handbags at a minimum to see all of the amazing things that she's doing. And most importantly, the communities that she is impacting by serving others across the world in trying to get the supplies that she needs. It's a great conversation. It's become one of my favorites. I hope you enjoy it. So Roxana, thank you so much for coming here to talk to us today. I'm super excited to hear about WAPA because I've known your story for quite a while. And anyway, the viewers here and those that are going to see this are going to they're in for a treat. And to kick that off, why don't you tell us about WAPA, where you got the idea, the people that are involved in this, because it's like a community effort here for what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. I know that it has been like a chasing thing.
We'll chase you wherever.
But thank you so much for the opportunity. And also, I'm very excited to talk about my business and especially the story behind of the business. So to go back how I started, everything started in 2018 when I was in Corpus Christi. I used to live over there. And I was attending Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I was doing a master's in business administration. That was actually the main reason why I came to the United States to pursue a master's. So during the time that I was there, I was part of a Colombian student association. And during the time that I was part of this organization, I was the vice president.
Oh, okay.
Like for two consecutive years. So in the time that I was there, I was in charge of the different donation campaigns that we were doing. I remember in some point we were like collecting like a lot of donation things like clothes, food, all this stuff. And we were planning to send all these donations back to Colombia. So we got like a very good contact here in San Antonio, like two ladies that they were doing the same. And they want to help us, and they put us in contact with the Colombian Air Force. Okay. So we start sending all our donations with them, and they distribute all the donations in different towns in Colombia, especially those towns that they were very vulnerable or probably with low-income families. So when I was part of this organization, I was trying to say this part of the story because that's how actually it started. I already know the indigenous people that I had been helping for all these years, but I could learn more about the like how they used to live, the different like economy issues that they have. It was because all these donation campaigns. I remember that in some point, these indigenous people and also the area where they live, they were like facing a lot of economy issues. Especially they were lacking of food, they were lacking of water, something that is so important for a human. And we start like collecting and trying to put all these donations campaign together just for them. So when we were part of these different events, we used to do two different events for the organization. We used to do a philanthropic event, and then we used to do like a fundraising event. For the philanthropic event, we used to talk about our country, Colombia, trying to, change the stereotypes about Colombia that is just about cocaine, drugs. Right. So we were trying to show the beautiful part of Colombia. So we used to ask our members to bring souvenirs from Colombia. So normally they used to bring like coffee, they used to bring like the mochila bags. And I have to be honest, when I knew about the products before, about the mochilas, because it's part of our culture in Colombia. Like everybody wear the mochilas over there, especially the people that live in the Colombian coast. Okay. So I knew about that, but I don't know, because I'm from a different area in Colombia. I mean, for me, I was like, this is just for people that live in the Colombian coast. And it wasn't part of my outfits. if
Oh,
I
I
can
see.
say.
Right.
So, but when I was here, we were doing these donation campaigns. I learned about the situation that these people were living, like all the economy issues that they were having. And also when we were in these different events and we started selling some of the items that we were bringing from Colombia, I noticed that the mochila bags were the first one that we were like
They were just
selling out.
gone.
Yes. And it's funny because the mochilas that the members used to bring, they were like not that pretty. So
Oh, I
they were
see.
the ugliest one, if I
But
can
still,
say.
they were gone because you don't see these type of,
Exactly.
I mean, look, I don't see a lot of bags, but I don't see, the products that you have anywhere else except for what you're doing. So yeah, I'm sure
Exactly.
people are like, wow, that's unique.
So when I noticed that, I was like, well, I think this is a great opportunity to keep helping them and also starting a business. So that's why that's when I started to bring like some of the bags, and I say like, why not? Let's see what is going to happen. So I remember that I brought like 10, 15 mochilas.
Okay.
And I reached out to a person that were doing some like a little pop-ups in Corpus Christi.
Sure.
She's like very famous doing this type of markets. And also she has a beautiful business too. Her name is Elena. And I want to call her name out over here because she was one of the first person that support me, and she has a beautiful business. It's called Su Bonita. She helped also people in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
So I reached out to her, and she was like, "Yeah, of course. Let's. I mean, you can be part, of course." And I remember that I was in a small table with the 15 bags, and I sold those out like super fast. Like the event, it was actually like going on still, and I was just over there like, okay, I'm ready to go because I sell them out like super fast. So that's when I was like, well, this is probably a great opportunity to start a business. I remember that I talked to my boyfriend and I say like, hey, I have this idea. What do you think? He was like, well, I don't know. Let's see. You can start like
Doubter.
Exactly. Yes, he was a little bit.
Ooh, the truth is coming out. A little bit of doubt there.
He was a little bit like a hesitating.
We'll come back to him in a second. He changes, I believe, in the story that's on here.
I'm not going to say his name.
We won't say his name. He gets better.
But the thing is, he was a little bit like hesitating because he was saying like, I don't know, the bags are very bright.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the culture here, they are not going to, I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, he was like, maybe you need to like.
You always need a man's opinion of women's fashion.
But you know what? Sometimes that's good because, I mean, Sebastian, he's very smart.
Ooh, yes, he is. Sorry, buddy, you got outed.
He's very smart. So he told me like, you should like make a research first and trying to understand if this is going to be good for the audience over here.
Sure. Because, I mean, men do buy bags for their significant others.
Exactly.
So you do have to catch their eye or have it to where the woman tells the man, hey, I like those in order for them to do that, right?
But
so, I mean, there is a man's purchase.
He was a little bit more worried about the part of if the people will accept the product because it's something completely different.
Yeah.
But I was like, let's try and let's see what is going to happen. And he was like, yes, let's do it. So he supported me. He has been my probably best supporter ever. So he was like, yeah, let's do it. And it's funny because after that I was doing the research and I was like, yeah, I think it's going to work. He was actually the person that named my business.
Really?
Yes, it was him because I was thinking about the name and I was like, well, what we can put up the name. So it must be something very powerful.
Yeah.
It must be something very powerful. My idea from the beginning was to support the indigenous women. Mm-hmm. So I was like, it must be something that people can tell that we are empowering people. We are empowering especially women.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even remember how we end up with the name WAPA. But we were thinking WAPA like a regular, like how is in Spanish.
Sure.
Because in Spanish is UAPA.
Guapa.
That's how it's spelled.
Yep.
And WAPA means beautiful woman or good-looking person. But also in my region, where I'm from in Colombia, WAPA can be also used in a different context when you can say like someone is very brave, especially like a woman is super
really?
brave. Like is strong, like she can go for it and is going to be non-stoppable.
Okay.
That can be also a contest for that word.
Oh, wow.
But then Sebastian, he say like, you know what? What about if we just combine the name of the indigenous tribe, because the indigenous tribe's name that I support is called Wayu,
Oh, wow.
like with W.
Oh, I see.
Wayu. So we just combined the two words. We took the wa and we just combined with guapa with the two other letters.
wow.
So that's why it's called guapa with W. So guapa means that we are, we just, and also I think the guapa words also wants to describe a little bit the bags. They are very guapas. They are very beautiful. But also the W means wayu, women.
Okay.
I think the W letter is very powerful, because when you see the W, you can like, especially women, we can like say, oh, it's for women, and also for Wonder Woman, that this is actually the meaning of all these people, all these women, indigenous women that are making our bags. So I just want to give the name like a very powerful meaning, and that's how we end up with the name WAPA.
Well, you know, we take a lot of branding for granted as consumers after the fact. And there's a lot of businesses I don't think that take as much time to think about how the brand, people think, you know, the logo and this together, right, is your brand. And it really does need to, you know, have some sort of communication or feeling or whatever it is in the name, because that really does make all the difference, you know, for this. And, you know, I mean, again, the simplistic nature of it as well is something that for me, I always found very, you know, one, it's unique. It's simple. The way you sound it is powerful, right? I mean, to say WAPA, it just, and your product is so unique and beautiful as well. I think it's a perfect combination. We'll give you the credit. We'll just say you got some advice, you know, from Sebastian on that one. It sounds like that team effort did really, really well. Tell us about the tribe and kind of how they fit into WAPA and everything.
So going back to the story from the beginning, that I was helping the organization with the different donation campaigns, and we help in a specific this region where they are located at. We didn't help specifically the indigenous tribe. We were just trying to help the region where they are located at, because they were lacking of different things. And I also started learning a little bit more when all these events happening in the past, that we were selling all of their products and all that stuff. And I just decided to go in and say like, you know what, I'm going to start a business, because I think this is a great idea. And also we can keep supporting them. Like I can say that everything started because of the passion to helping others. So, and I had been with this passion for a long time ago. So I was like, okay, this is great. So I started with one family. It was actually people that they were part of the indigenous tribe, but they were not living in the indigenous tribe.
Okay.
So I was helping them for probably where we were working together like for 1 year.
Okay.
But after that, I was like, you know what? That's not the focus of the business that I want. I would like to help them like directly. I want to go with them. So I'm start doing my research, and we connect with an artisan that she actually has an Instagram. She's very smart, and she's currently my artisan leader right now. So we contact each other for some reason, and we start talking. With her like all this time, and I had been with my business for 5, it's going to be 6 years already, and I had been working with the same people.
That's awesome.
So they honestly live in a very vulnerable area in Colombia. Like they are very poor people. Like honestly, unfortunately, they don't have like a lot of support from the government in Colombia. And the culture itself is kind of hard also. They still live in this, like, they call rancherias. It's like a small ranch, if I can say, but no like luxury ranch. They are actually like a very, very, like, with a lot of, like economy issues.
Right.
They don't live in a very good environment, if I can say. They don't have a bed, they don't have a kitchen, they don't have, they are actually, they sleep in hammocks.
Okay.
They do their food in like a fire pits.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's very hard. And I can tell because sometimes and that was something from the beginning that I was very I was getting frustrated because sometimes the bag didn't arrive on time. There was a lot of delays, a lot of problems. And in the beginning, it was very frustrated because here the system was completely different. Right? Everything is on time. Like, people here are very, very effective. I'm not saying that they are not, but because of the different environments that they are living, it's very hard that they can be like on time with everything. So when I was learning about all the issues that they have, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to, sit down, take a breath and wait. I can't do anything else. So I had been learning about that. And so that's why we start like, working together. I was even more happy to support them because I started learning more how they live, all the economy situations that they have. Even the culture, they still have this, like, they can exchange, like, for example, like the daughter for some goats or some animals. They still live in that type of...
Well, because they don't have a lot of tradable goods, right? We take commerce for granted now, especially in the United States. But, if you go back to basically where our society was, where they live today, you needed to have some sort of resource that someone was willing to trade you for something that you don't have in order to get it. And if you were a rich resource country, the United States, you luckily had everything that you needed and you could actually trade with others to get money or to, to move it. But some people, and it's still out there, we just don't talk about it, right? They don't have anything to trade.
Yeah, exactly.
But it sounds like, what they are starting to find and have found through WAPA is they do have skills that can be tradable into something that can bring, some sort of economic benefit to that community, which is huge.
And the indigenous women, especially the indigenous women, are the main providers in this culture. They are actually who, like, men do the same too. They actually can, like, handmade the different items too. But women, they have a very important role in the indigenous tribes. So they are providers too. It's not just the men. And they actually live in a very dry area in Colombia. That's why, telling you back the story about that we were collecting donation and all that stuff, that's why we were collecting water for them, because that area is very, very dry. It's very dry. It's a very dry area in Colombia where people, they have a lot of issues with water. So but they are very, very vulnerable people, if I can say. They are very talented people. They actually do this for living. That's their main income for their families. Do all the handmade items. And they don't work just with me. They have people all around the world. Not just the community that I support, because there are many. There are many, many, many communities. They can be more than 200, more than 500 communities in of this.
Are they all signed as are they kind of autonomous even though they're out there, or is there a network of all of them as well?
No, I think they are located in different areas. Sometimes there are some communities that they don't even know each other. So the people that I'm helping, I start, and this is something that I have to say loud and I'm very proud about it. I start with one family, and now we are at this point, we are supporting 5 communities.
5 communities.
And every community has between 10, 15, sometimes 20 families. So we are making a great impact over there.
Hundreds of families. That is exciting.
Yeah.
It's just the beginning.
And it's just the beginning. Sometimes it can be very challenging because of the culture. It's kind of different sometimes, but I think they already know how I like to work, and I already know them. So it's just like a 50-50, teamwork. And it has been very good so far. So
Well, let's talk about a little bit about the beginning. So, we already talked about the first, market that you tested out the 15 and they sold right away. When did you decide you were going to try to scale this thing to be larger and, to not run out in like 20 minutes of stuff? Like, when was that? Sounds like you're doing the research, getting the name, but when did you move to try to say, okay, now it's time to get going?
Yeah, it's funny because when I start with the business, like later the pandemic hit.
Right.
So that was good. Honestly, that was good because I was just learning.
You're one of the few people that say it was good.
I know, but it was good for me because I honestly I took advantage of that, and that's when I start to do everything online. I wasn't thinking to do that in that moment.
You were going to do market to market to market.
I was just planning to do just different pop-ups, markets, because that's what I was like seeing for the other small business, and I was learning from them, and they were saying like, yeah, I'm doing this pop-up, these markets, blah blah blah, but I never thought that like, okay, let's go online. No, because I was like comfortable, you can say. So when the pandemic hit, is when I say, you know what? So let's start and be focused in the online part. So that's when I create my website.
Okay.
I actually did it by myself because when you are a small business, you don't have a
That's
lot of
right.
resources. So you have to, hustle.
You got to move all the inventory, ring up all the
Everything.
transactions, take it down, put it up, and build your own website.
Yeah, everything. So I put together the website, and it was amazing because I started saying like, hey, we are in online now, and we are working from home, due to the pandemic. So, and that's when we start getting a lot of sales online.
Wow.
That was very, very good because we start getting like, purchases, not just in Corpus Christi, but we start getting purchases everywhere. I remember that our major audience or purchases were in California, New York,
Oh, wow.
Arizona. And I was like very surprised. And I was like, wow, this is going to be good. So, and after the pandemic, during the pandemic, I was looking for a job because I was like, well, I need honestly to have a capital, like a more money so I can invest in my business. So I was like, I need to get a job. So, I mean, in the beginning, and I think I'm not the only person that can think that, especially when you are in the retail business,
Right.
that you can just survive, just, making some purchases or some sales, or even when you are just starting the business. So I was like, I need to get a job. I need to, save money and invest that money to my business.
Well, yeah, because if you don't have inventory to sell, you're not going to move. I mean, people don't realize that until they're like, wow, I got all these potential orders here, but I got no inventory to sell, so I make no money. I mean, people will miss that.
Exactly. So that's when I decide like, okay, I'm going to look a job. And I was looking like, different options, and one option show up here in San Antonio.
Okay.
So that's when I decide to go working with the U.S. Department of Commerce, and I start working with them as a business advisor.
Okay.
And it was kind of the same that I was doing with my business,
Right.
but with small businesses in different areas. So I was like, okay, let's do this, and I'm going to combine the two jobs, like having my own business and also having a full-time job. So I started working hard over there, and I was honestly working Monday through Monday.
Oh, wow.
I didn't have a day off. I was just working and working and working and working, like during the week, working from home, meetings, doing different events, things, and then Saturday, sometimes Friday, Saturday and Sundays, I was just working with my business in different events here in San Antonio. So that's how I started like, okay, I need to take my business to a different level. And honestly, I'm very glad that I started the business in Corpus, and I'm going to be, super grateful with the people that support me over there. But I had to be honest, here in San Antonio, people are so supportive. So when I start like with my business here, I honestly feel like, okay, this is something great. It has a lot of potential, and I'm pretty sure this is it can be taken a different level.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I start like combining different like pop-ups, markets, and then doing online. So I do both. And After that, all that hard work, I was thinking like, okay, maybe I'm ready to go to maybe to a different shows, because pop-ups and markets are good, and but I think sometimes you have to work more, and maybe you are not going to see the money.
Sure.
Because you never know.
Because you've only got a finite amount of time, right?
Exactly.
So you can go to the front lines and do what I call hand-to-hand combat, hand-to-hand sales, right?
Exactly.
Or you can figure out how to get to that next one where one sale with a distributor or some bigger brand, right, that wants to feature that can be worth, thousands or even hundreds of thousands of units on there.
Exactly.
And, for small business and retail, it's a little bit of both, I would assume. But then how you allocate that, well, that's
Exactly.
That's an art.
Is very hard. So I was like, okay, I'm in the point where a lot of people here in San Antonio already know my brand. And it's very funny because I had been out with friends and some people recognize me and they are like, hey, guapa, you are guapa. Right, you are guapa. And I'm wearing my bags all the time.
Right.
I stopped buying fast fashion bags. I'm just wearing my bags all the time. So when people see me, they are like, I know you. I'm in my social media. I do everything in my social media. So a lot of people already recognize me and they are like, you are guapa, you are guapa. You are the one that are bringing bags from Colombia. Yes, yes. So that's awesome. And I think in that point, I was like, I think my brand, a lot of people already know my brand here in San Antonio, but I would like to take my brand like to different states. Why not?
Sure.
So that's how I, like last year, that's when I decide and I say, you know what? Or I have to be focusing my full time, or I have to be focusing my business.
That's right.
Because it was taking me a lot of my time. I didn't take breaks. I was working all the time and I was getting very, very, very tired. So I was like, okay, I need to make a decision. And in that time, my project, it was almost over. So I had the opportunity to keep working with them, but I think it was like,
it was a good clean break.
Exactly. I was like, I think this is like a sign that I need to make that decision and I need to like go just all in with my business.
When people make that switch from the side hustle and the full time, it's usually one of two things. It's either there's been just this big upswing, right? And those are easy. Oh, I'm making all this money over here. I'm just going to do this. But most of them are, no, I got to take the risk and I'm exhausted. And I'm either going to go all in or I'm going to go get all out. And that's when you go, I'm going to go all in. And at that point in time, you're there. I mean, that makes sense, but that's how it usually takes place is do I just get out or do I go all in? Cause I can't now, you just run yourself ragged doing all that.
But I have to tell you, I wasn't scared.
Oh, I bet not.
Since I started with my business, I have had the same feeling. Like I trust the business. I know that it has a lot of potential and I go with that. And in some point when people say like, what about that? I was like, if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. That's fine. Thanks God, I have education. I have education and I can go and look for another job. That's fine. But if I have the opportunity, I'm going to take it and I'm going to work very hard for that. And that's what I have been doing since I made the decision. So, and for me, I think, in my opinion, small businesses, if you are really focused of what you want, you are not going to be like stoppable. You are going to keep
You got to love what you do, which again, we talked about this before we came on the air, right? If you love what you do and you're doing good and doing well, that's the most powerful thing. And the naysayers, I mean, a lot of people they'll be the ones not on purpose, right? I'm sure they weren't trying to shoot you down, but they'll see all the negatives and you're like, no, but I see all the positives on this.
Exactly.
And that's what it takes to be able to be resilient when you are exhausted, to keep on going.
Exactly.
Because I've seen you guys in Houston and all over those places. And then, we've been chasing you for a while and you've been in Colombia, all those things. I mean, but your passion is what's going to drive you and has driven you and will continue to drive you forward.
Yeah. And I think also if you want to take your business to a different level, I think you need to set up some goals like all the time. And that's what I had been doing with my business. I started just selling the bags, and now we are in the point where I'm designing my own bags.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because I want to make for sure that we are selling one of a kind products. They are going to be one of a kind anyways.
Right.
Because the process to be like the time that they normally spend making just one bag, it can be up to 4 weeks.
4 weeks for one bag?
Yeah. And
Wow.
this depends of the artisan expertise and the type of bag.
Got
It can be less time because they are like amazing artisans that they are just experts and they can do like probably 2 weeks, maybe
Right.
less. But there are some that they can take more time. But in average, it can be up to 4 weeks. So so they will be one of a kind for sure. But I was noticing that also the audience here is different. Here in San Antonio, I love San Antonio because we have a lot of like Hispanic influence. So normally Hispanic people, we love colors, we love bright things, you know. So when I was doing, especially when we have fiesta, you know, here people love everything colorful. So, but I always notice, especially like white people, American people, they are more neutral. There are some people that like bright colors too, but I can say that probably like there is a big percentage of people that they prefer neutral colors because they are thinking like, oh, if it's a neutral color, I can use this more often.
Right, because we tend to be a little bit more conservative in what we dress and those sort of things. And so I get that, right?
Exactly.
But at the same token, right, the colorful ones and as a form of expression, right? They're interested as well. But yeah, no,
and
I
think, and I'm start learning also that people buy according to their emotions and mood. Yes, you can say I don't think so. Yes.
Oh no, I know 100% so.
Yes, and sometimes even the weather, the season made that person buy or not. So
oh wow.
If you sell like bright colors in fall or winter, people are not like, I'm not in the mood because, you know, the
I want
weather,
my pumpkin latte and I'm going to cozy up. So give me something a little more neutral tone, earth tone.
So I'm start learning about that a lot. And I was like, okay, I think this is the point where we need to start making our own bags. And also people are going to start like even like recognizing more the brand. Right. So that's why they say that's a WAPA bag. That's a WAPA bag because they already know that it's not just the traditional work the indigenous women do, but also, you know, a little bit more aesthetic, if we can say.
Well, you make it more mainstream.
Exactly.
Right? Which, I mean, it's smart. I mean, a lot of people, seasonality exists in all businesses. I mean, even in our law firm. I mean, this is our busiest time right now because people are trying to get in and out of transactions before the end of the year. You know, January, February is a little bit slower for us because everybody's just done deals they're trying to figure out what to do. But if you know that, you can start to plan whatever the seasonality is for your business around there. And you can use that to create, again, more mainstream because, again, don't know a whole lot about handbags. I've got, you know, let's see, 30 years of buying them. So that's all my only experience that I've got, you know, from Louis all the way down to knockoff Dooney and Burks. But you know, from the fact that you can tell the types because other brands have done that. Yeah. And what you're selling is very, very unique. So I would gather as more people see mainstream, the vibrant colors and those, they'll tie it all together. And
we want to keep the traditional work they do, but we just want to give like a little twist in the bags. I'm in the point where I'm designing the patterns of the bags, but also trying to like change a little bit the style of the bags. So sometimes we add some leather, some, you know, like some straps in leather. Or some like a resin, like, you know, like chains, handles. So all that, trying to get like a little bit twist in a chic, you know, way that people can say like, oh, this is different. This is not like other like Louis Vuitton. I don't want to say that, but yeah, something like that. That is very, very, very popular also here. But we want to do something different.
Right.
That's what I want to be focusing the business. And I think like taking the business in this level is a huge thing, because not all, I think, people that are involved in the same industry that I am, is very easy, especially when you are working with the artisans, because sometimes they can understand something different. I send my designs. I normally do my designs in a tablet, and what I want, and that's something that I learned about myself. I didn't know that I can actually sketch.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't know that. I mean, I think I had that talent because of my parents.
Okay.
They both like to do like sketches, and they like to work with their hands. But I didn't know that. It's just that I was like, I would like to see something like this. So I was doing my first sketches like in a paper with a pen.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, maybe with a tablet where I can put the colors and all that stuff, like pick colors and trying to, draw with the different colors. I think it would be awesome. So that's why I say like, okay, I need to invest in a tablet. And that's how I do my designs.
Wow.
I put my designs in a tablet and I send the designs to the artisans. They have to convert those designs in a program that they use that is called Punto Cruz.
Okay.
And then after that, they start like, handmaking the bags or making the bags. So for me, that was an amazing thing to discover, because I was like, wow, I'm going to be able to do what I can like visioning like with the bags. And it's funny because some people ask me like before, like, so do you take in consideration like other big like bags businesses like Louis Vuitton, Prada, like you take in consideration those ideas that they have and you're trying to reflect that in your business? And I don't do that. Honestly, I don't even.
That's good, right? Because then, I mean, fashion that I've seen, maybe not participated in, but seen, it's because something different catches the eye, and then, slowly, and then all of a sudden, aggressively becomes the fad.
Exactly.
And then the real, which is going to be where you're going to be, right? It's going to go up. And then the brands like we've talked about, they've figured out how to use that and continue to reinvent.
Exactly.
So that way they stay at the top, which will be the next, road of challenge, is the reinvention.
Exactly.
But I mean, that's what you want. You want to be different.
Yeah, I want to be different. And honestly, I don't take as a reference or inspiration other businesses that are involved in the same industry like bags.
Okay.
I'm more like thinking about what is trending with colors, clothes, because at the end, a bag is an accessory for your outfit. So you see, you need to know like what is going to match and fit with that outfit. So that's what I'm thinking all the time. Like, oh, these colors are super trending. Or sometimes I remember that I did a collection that the patterns were just like a fruits, like a different fruits, because in that time it was for summer. And I saw a lot of like hats, like earrings that they were like a fruit, like oranges,
and
cherries,
pineapples and cherries.
pineapples.
Yeah, we
I was
had
like,
some of those at the house. Yeah, I know what you're talking
so
about.
I was like, maybe this can be like a great idea in a bag. So that's how I normally take like an inspiration or reference to designing my bags. So, but I think one of the biggest things that I can say where I'm very proud and I can say like, wow, my business is at a different level. It's like we are designing our own bags, and also like we have now a physical place where people can go and buy. That's a huge, and I think that's a huge achievement for our small businesses. So we are part of this. It's like a marketplace that is called Paint and Tree. So we have our little store over there, and it's amazing. It's super convenient.
Which, I mean, I think you downplayed that one a little bit. I'm going to come back. That place is fantastic because in big retail boxes, they're starting to do carve outs for pop outs within the big retails. What they've established it's not really a market, it's a collection of these beautiful pop outs. I mean, I've seen the pictures of your place. It's beautiful. It's like they walk into that little corner, area pop up that is WAPA.
Exactly.
And so I just want to make sure, like you were like, it's like a market. No, this is not a market. This is like, fashion, and you get to go and experience the brand that you have. And one day we'll walk into a bigger store, somewhere else that'll be very, very similar to that.
And I have to say that if you go to the place, you will find more than 250 small businesses inside.
Yeah.
And it's funny because sometimes people are like, oh, it's like a flea market. I'm
Right,
like,
which is what people
no.
may have thought. I'm like, no, I've seen the pictures of this.
I'm like, no. It's not a flea market, because Paint and Tree actually give you the opportunity to decorate your space, whatever you want. So it's beautiful that you go inside and you can see like the business personality in every spot.
Right.
So the experience is actually, how you say, it's an experience that you can go, you can see different spots over there, and you can say like, oh wow, this is something different, something
Right.
unique. It's something unique.
It is very unique.
Yeah, and for the small businesses, I think it's very convenient because you don't have to be there.
That's right.
They provide their own stuff. Like you can just go and check your inventory, like restock, and that's it. You don't have to be there all the time.
We'll keep
So-
going. We're good.
So it's super cool. So and the other thing that probably, because I think with the different things that I have been doing with the business is to provide to the client different options where they can buy. So they can buy online, they can go to the physical store, or they can go where I'm going to be with the different shows that I have been doing. That's another thing that I decide for this year. After I finish my job, I was like, okay, I don't want to do just 1-2 days shows. No, I want to do like longer days. So right now I'm in the point that it's very hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get into this type of fairs. I'm doing state fairs.
Oh, okay.
That's very hard.
Because you were at the San Antonio Rodeo, you were at the Texas State Fair, if I remember right.
Yes.
Right? Like, I mean, these are like big
Those
events.
are
I mean,
big events.
people shop big time at those events. They don't realize that. I mean,
Yeah.
most people don't.
And
'cause
I
they
went
just go for a
to
specific place.
Wisconsin
Oh, wow.
and Minnesota as well.
Wow.
Yes.
How is it there from a culture standpoint?
I was very surprised because when I made the decision to go,
Yeah.
and actually I went and I had the opportunity, it was because a friend that she told me, you know what, you should do it. She has been doing this like for 2-3 years already, and she was
Yeah.
like, you should do it. You will do great. We can help you. Like, they are amazing. And that's another thing. Since I have my business, I have been having a tribe of women,
Oh, wow.
other business owners, that they have been supporting me. And I think when you are a small business, you need to have that community around you.
It's hard because a lot of times people, like, especially friends and family, don't understand.
Yeah.
They're employees somewhere, so they get it like, well, I mean, why are you working so hard? It's Saturday. It's like, because I own my business. So if I don't do it, it's not getting done,
Yeah.
for those type of things. But to have community of people that understand.
Yeah.
That's
I have a lot of friends. They are my friends in the community of business owners. And they are just, people that support you and say, hey, you should do this, you should do that. Like, you can really feel like they want to help you to succeed. So that's amazing. So my friend, she was like, Angela is actually her name, and she was like, you should do it. I will support you. I will help you, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, let's do it. And I did it, and I was very surprised because a lot of people were like, are you sure that you are going to Wisconsin and Minnesota? Because over there is actually like the north.
That's
like,
Yankee land.
Like, this is very bright.
Yes, I said it. That's Yankee. I'm a Southern boy.
So a lot of people were saying like, I don't know if this is going to work for you over there because it's always cold over there.
Yeah, but I'm dying to know. Did it work?
But they were saying, I don't know. So I was like, I will try it.
Yeah.
I will try it. It was amazing.
See, that's what I figured. And
It was
see, from a
amazing.
mainstream, right? If you can prove, this is something that, just hearing your story, right? You tested out the market with 15 bags, sold them out.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're like, you're in a community, which San Antonio, which I love San Antonio, diverse culture, very accepting, which is why I love this community that we live in, and so you can test out a lot of different stuff because of our diverse culture. And then when you go and take a major test that's into the bread belt and up into Yankeedom up there, and it's still successful, you're at mainstream, that you have the potential to do that mainstream in those little tests.
Yeah.
Which
And
is huge.
I just, when I was there, I heard comments like, thank you for bringing so life to this place that is so cold all the time. Thank you for, oh my God, I never seen this before. These bright colors, wow, beautiful. The work, the high quality. So all these words that you hear when you are in a place that supposed to be like, no, it's not going to happen.
No, we don't like this stuff. Go back down to wherever you came from. You don't get
amazing.
That's awesome.
And this is something that I really love about people in general here in the States, that they really appreciate and love the handmade work.
Well, that's true. Because
Yes.
most of the stuff, in fact, probably everything I'm wearing is made in China. You know? And so to have handmade, tailored, I mean,
Exactly.
that's why Etsy's so popular, you know, for
Exactly.
people, because you're like, hey, I need something that's unique. I can go to the big box store and buy something that, you know, 1 million other people have, or maybe I can get something that's a little bit more unique for that.
Yeah.
And some people don't care, right? They'll just consume all day long. But a lot of people, you know, really, really are looking for those, you know, type of handmade goods.
Yeah, yeah. So they really love the product. I did very, very good over there. So that's how I say, you know what? I need to start doing this type of fairs because
Right.
it's very good. It's normally for 11 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I stayed there for 11 days. And the Wisconsin one and the Minnesota one, they are just 1 week away. So I
So you
came
basically
back.
relocated to the north, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I came back to
You're a
Texas
Colombian
for a week.
woman up there in Wisconsin. That's probably a big switch.
Exactly.
It'd be a big switch for me.
But I love the experience there.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. People were nice. A little bit different what we used to see here in Texas, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I remember I came back to Texas for a week, take a break, and then I went back again to Minnesota, and it was amazing. Minnesota is probably the second largest state fair in the United States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can see there like probably, I don't know. Here in Dallas is like the attendance is actually, that's how you say attendance?
Attendance.
The attendance is actually 2.4 million of people.
Right.
But over there is like 1.5 million. But the difference is in Minnesota is for 11 days. In Dallas is for 21 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's just
So,
crazy.
yeah.
I mean, I didn't, you don't really, people talk about economic impact of things like that, but when
Yeah.
you hear a story about how much of an impact it makes to an individual business
Yeah.
and those sort of things, it is huge.
Yeah.
What's next for WAPA?
Oh my gosh. One of the dreams that I have, honestly, I would like to learn more about the fashion design part
Okay.
for bags. It's kind of hard to find this type of programs about just bags because normally it's just fashion design about clothes,
Right.
styling, and all that stuff. But I would like to find like accelerator or program like that I can learn more in the sketching part because I think I'm just new about that. I'm just learning what I can do with my hands and that's it. But I would like to learn more and maybe to have more knowledge about how to like combine that with the business part. So that's one of the dreams I had been looking
Okay.
already, and there is some opportunity maybe in New York, but I need to like see how it's going to work.
Sure.
Because it's for like a good time that I have to spend over there. So obviously I need to figure it out how I will like deal with the business because I'm in charge of everything. Yeah. That's the other thing. When you are a small business owner, you have to wear a lot of hats.
I mean, you got a lot of social media. So in addition to, being the person that's, there at
Social media, everything.
at the fair, I mean, your social media is wonderful. I know you have some models that work with you. You do a lot of that stuff, but I mean, I've got my brain trust over there that does social media. I don't know where I would ever find the time to do that. But yeah, you do it all.
Yeah, and I think I do the social media because I really like it to do, honestly.
I don't, but
I really love it. And that's why I spend time sometimes like, okay, I can do this,
Right.
a fun video. Because sometimes it can be just about the business and selling. No, it can be different things. So sometimes I do like a fun videos over there or I'm focused just about the business. But honestly, for like being a little bit easier for all the stuff that I have to do, that's why I prefer sometimes like, okay, let's go with a photographer, take some good pictures with models, and that's it. Because honestly, there are many things.
Yeah.
The only I can say people that help me is an accountant because that's something that I can deal with the numbers. I'm very bad with numbers.
And when she needs a lawyer, she's going to contact a lawyer as well.
Exactly. I already have one. So the thing is, yeah, I have someone that helped me with the numbers, with the taxes and all that
Which
stuff.
I would tell you, bookkeeping and all that, especially for
It's
retail with
very
the sales
important.
tax and everything else. If you get behind on all that, that can be an end of a business.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, when you calculate all that and then go, oh, we owe tens of thousands of dollars to, you know,
Exactly.
the state of Texas that we don't have, or now we don't have inventory. So that's super smart.
Yeah, and I think it's very important. Even if you're a very, very small business, you need to have someone that, because I mean, I learn and I know my numbers.
Right.
One thing is I don't like it, like to deal with that, but I know already how everything works with the numbers and the finance of the business and all that stuff. But I think it's very important to have like a booking person, you know, like a bookkeeper that can, you know, doing everything for you and probably teach you, hey,
Right.
you need to have this, you need to, you know, if you want to have a very like profitable business.
Right.
So I'm so glad that I have someone that is he's so good, and he has been helping me with the business, especially lately. He has been very, very nice.
Well, as you grow, they just become more and more important, right? Because the numbers become bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that's true. So I think that's one of my probably dreams, to be a little bit more focused in the designing part, improve a little bit more better. And understand a little bit more better how that works with the business part.
Right.
And I think keep working hard. I would like to be focused just in the big events, maybe do just 5-6 events during the year, and I can be the rest of the year be just relax, because those days that you spend doing this type of events, oh my gosh, you get like drained, like tired.
Because you're giving off energy and having to use a lot of energy to keep the experience
I
up.
think you don't realize when you are working, like I think the adrenaline is so high that you're like, I'm fine. But then when you finish,
that's right, and you sit down, you're like, oh, I'm not getting back up again.
You know what, when I finish my events, especially those the big ones, and I got home, I was one day like I passed out.
Bet.
Like my body was like completely tired. So I would like to do something like, those are the steps that I would like to. And also another thing that I would like to do is maybe to work with other businesses, maybe like big brands that have probably the same focus that I have. In this case, like helping other people.
Right.
Because I have been getting offers that people are like, I would like to sell your products.
Right.
And they contact me and they say, I would like to sell your products. You have a beautiful products, blah, blah, blah. But I have not found yet
the right person,
someone that I feel, or a business that I can feel that it match my business.
That's super important.
Yes.
Super. Because if you go to a distributor type, right, then they become the face of your brand.
Exactly.
And if you don't have the right person that matches that culture and the right, you know, controls, you know, which come through those distributorship agreements, you can find yourself where your brand basically got diluted or run, you know, run the wrong direction, you know, after everything you've done. So that's super smart.
Yeah. And for me, the most important thing is that we can have the same, like, you know, focus in this case, like helping indigenous people or other people. It can be indigenous people,
right,
or indigenous women, no, but that we had probably the same vision, that is not just of having a business and trying to make money and money and money, because that's the other thing. And a lot of people, when they say my products and they say the price, a lot of my clients, they say, this is not expensive. I was expecting like
I know, I have the
hundred of money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, because our main idea is sell as fast as we can, so we can keep supporting them.
That's right.
So we can just, okay, we sell this, let's order more items from them. So we all can win, not just, you know, me as a business owner. That's the main idea. So that's why my products are not expensive at all.
Yeah, I would say I was shocked at how inexpensive they were when I had looked at your products, because they're beautiful and they're handmade, and we expect in the States that we will pay a heavy premium for handmade, and we do that for it. But that makes complete sense. I mean, if it's mission focused to be able to drive more volume so that way these communities can have better lives, then you're going to play that into your pricing strategy.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, and we could talk for a long time, and would love to have you back to talk more as you grow and distributor. But let me ask this final question, and I'm going to kind of throw it at you. Sorry. If you could go back, because you were very thoughtful, you've been very thoughtful this entire way through. Now, what you know now, if you could go all the way back to when you were first thinking about the bags, what would you change? Because you were very thoughtful.
That's a hard
I know.
question.
Most of the time people will be like, well, I wish I'd have known this, this, and this. But see, you went and checked those things out, which is very rare. Most people go ready, set, charge, and they're off. But you were very thoughtful and did the whole, let me try this out. So I wonder, what was a lesson, that maybe you could go back and say, oh, if I could tell myself this, it would help.
You know what? Honestly, I have to be honest. I won't change anything.
Okay. That makes sense to me because of the pace that you went.
Because I think when you have a bad experiences for whatever reasons, or you are knowing that comfortable zone, I think those are the factors that help you to grow.
Sure.
To go even beyond. So that's why. No, for me, everything has been perfect for my business. I don't want to say how you say that, trying to romanticize that, oh, everything was perfect. No. It's just
she just mentioned a second ago she passed out after, working. So we clearly know that there's been some, some hustling and some challenges.
It's just I think those little challenges that probably I had in the past with the business, those challenges probably helped me to be where I am right now.
Well, sure.
And I think, if people that know me from day one when I start with the business, they can tell how the business has grown so much. A lot of people say wow, honestly, I remember it's funny because I had videos where I used to have a different tag for the bags. I remember that I used to have a leather tag, and I had to sew it by myself. That was so, oh my gosh, so I put a lot of work doing that.
Right.
But after that, I was okay, I need to change that. I need to, improve a little bit the way to put that, so I'm not going to spend my entire day just putting tags and tags and tags. So that's why I have this little tag, a charm.
Oh.
Or I have the other one that is the actual logo of WAPA. But I normally put the actual logo to the ones that I design.
Oh, wow.
The ones that are the traditional work, I want to respect that is their work. So
you don't take away from that by having too much of a problem.
Yeah, because I don't want to say that we design all the bags.
Sure.
No. It's just the majority of them are my own designs, but there are some that we want to keep the traditional work they do because it's beautiful. It's even more beautiful, the ones that I design. But so that's why I do that. So yeah, but I won't change anything. I think everything has been very good, very, even inspirational for the business itself. And I think that hustling, those challenges has been helping the business to grow and be in the stage where they are. Where the business is right now.
Well, I'll give you my perspective because I deal with a lot of businesses, in the law firm. I've been around a lot of businesses. I think the reason you're able to say that, which to the viewers shouldn't be missed, is because of the thoughtfulness, right? You tested, you did the research, you said it does this work. I'm sure you had to tweak things based upon learning. You already talked about things you've tweaked on there. That sort of thoughtfulness and being proactive to your brand and how it's, going forward is huge. There's some, we've got good clients. I've got friends that have businesses that are just driving a number, which is sales, right? And driving that. But if they're not pivoting, they're slightly, it's, if you're going to go on a long course in the ocean, if you're a degree off, you end up, I forget, 100,000 miles away from where you were supposed to land on there. It's the people that literally stay on top, like what you're talking about, and are thoughtful about the course and chart the course that most of the times, and, unfortunately for some people, it just doesn't for whatever reason, COVID wiped out some businesses, but most of the time they get there, they maybe get there a little bit slower. right? But most of the time, those are the businesses that get there. So
Yeah.
I think that thoughtfulness would be the takeaway I would have,
Yeah.
for the fact that this is the benefit for thoughtfulness when you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also when you have a business, I think discipline, consistency, because some people, because they don't see the amazing results, or in this case, a lot of money, you give up and you're like, nah, this is not for me. If I will tell you all the experiences, like a bad experiences that I have had with my business, you will probably say like, really? And you are still running your business. But honestly, I think if you really like and you really love what you are doing, you are going to keep working. And for me, I have been learning with my business that you need to get solutions like right away if you want to see like good results.
Right.
I had been very consistency with my business. I had been working very hard for my business. And at the end, I think I'm not the only people that is benefiting my, ¿cómo se dice? How you say that? Like getting the benefit
Of the work.
Exactly. I think there are many people. Right now, that's how I see the business. It's not just like having a business and making money. I think I have a lot of people that they need my business.
Well, sure. You've got people back in the community that are hundreds. You've got people that are in the business community that are benefiting from what you're doing as you lead. And then you've got your customers.
Yeah, and especially the indigenous women.
Sure.
Like they really depend of my business.
Sure.
And they for sure are getting probably twice a month, like a good amount of money for making bags for me, or maybe more. So that's why when sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm tired. I just think about these people and I say, well, but we are doing something great for these people. So I need to keep working, because for me it will be easier to have just a job and working from home, and that's
it is a little bit easier, but then the mental aspect of sometimes just a job, but as opposed to the mental aspect of helping others and it makes all the difference.
And also I think the product also tell the story of my country.
Sure.
So that's another thing that I say, like, wow, yeah. And when people say, this is from Colombia, yeah, oh my gosh, wow, beautiful. And then people start asking you about things about Colombia. So you have the chance and opportunity to talk about that as well. Right. So there are many, many things. It's not just like of having a business and that's it. No, there are many, many things that for me are very important. So that's why I'm like, I need to keep working in this.
Well, I will tell you, I know this is not this is just the beginning of WAPA. When it becomes mainstream, they'll be like, look at this overnight success. And we'll be able to say, well, but she was on our podcast.
When I become
We're going to use
very
that
famous.
one and say that when she becomes famous. And I would be like, can I come to the fashion show?
Of course, yeah.
That are out there.
Hey, Matt, come join us.
Exactly. But we wish you all the best. I know you're going to be super successful. You have been. I've enjoyed, look, I'm a guy, so I'm not, into purses and stuff, but I see the social media, and again, Sebastian out there hanging stuff in Houston, and I'm sure he's going to be hanging things as you continue to grow across the entire country. And we just wish you the best. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I told you at the beginning, you were in for a treat. That Roxana and WAPA Handmade, they're doing amazing things. And this is going to be one of those stories that you hear about as one of those quote unquote overnight successes. But it's really been something that she's been doing methodically and strategically for the last couple of years. And it's having amazing success. We're so happy that Roxana took the time to be on our podcast here. Now, as always, we are here to serve you and your legal needs. We are here to advise, support, and educate every small and medium-sized business owner and startup founder in Texas. So if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. But until next time, when we have our next conversation, we'll see you soon.